to read Carter G. Woodson's book, The Miseducation of the Negro. That's number one. After they finish reading that book, I require them to read a book, interesting enough, written by a white woman, entitled Uncle Tom's Campus, so that they can clearly see that their interest should be with the community and not with the Board of Trustees if they're in the private sector, or with the Board of Regents if they're in the public sector. But they should work in the interest of the people, their people, and be very clear on who their people are, as opposed to looking at a $100,000 salary or $80,000 salary and trying to take care of their own family situation. So first of all, they would have to completely change their way of thinking. Now there is one college president that I admire a lot, and I had an opportunity to work under him, with him rather, from 1975 to 1985, and that's Dr. Frederick Humphreys. I think he's the only African-American college president that I've seen who stands up as a man and who also advocates a philosophy that is progressive and determining. I haven't seen a lot of them like him. He's very radical, very militant, very outspoken. As a matter of fact, when Frederick Humphreys was at Tennessee State, I think, and you worked with him directly, I mean, I think he was probably the most radical person on campus. And that's totally out of character for the president of a historically black college. But we need every one of them to be like that. All 117 should be like Fred Humphreys, and I think we can make some movement.
And of course, this whole issue of reparation, this is an issue. I think one time you remarked that while the separation of the races, Du Bois's idea of the color line being the important thing in the 20th century, you made the statement that the most important issue in the 21st century would be reparations. Do you still believe that?
I still believe that. I still believe that that's the most important issue for us in this part of the 21st century. But also, I think in that same program, I said that the issue that we're facing is the digital divide, which makes it even more imperative that we get up to speed in terms of computer technology. And that's another area, I think, that reparations can be appropriated. Maybe Bill Gates might want to get involved in bringing the African American community above the digital divide and making the entire community literate in terms of computer technology and all the other technologies that are spin-offs from the information industry.
Well, as a sociologist, would you say that all of these things that might benefit the African American population would also be beneficial to the nation as a whole over the last couple of minutes? Speak to that.
Absolutely, because if you have crime and unemployment and poverty in the African American community, quite naturally that is going to breed crime and drug dealers and numbers runners. So once you get that out of the communities will be safe, and then even white people will feel safe walking in North Nashville or other African American communities across the country, because they know the people don't have to steal, they don't have to rob, they don't have to be hostile, because they have all the material things that they see white people have here in this country. So absolutely, I mean, that would be the most peaceful environment I can think of.
And so this is not really not a radical idea in terms, this is just an idea of paying people for the work that they've done without receiving pay, and for somehow trying to meet the pain and suffering that occurred over those centuries, those 3 centuries that African Americans, for example, in this country were enslaved. Is that what we're saying? Is that?
Yeah, I think it's time to take the blindfold off Lady Justice, because she's been peeping from underneath all along, you see. So let's just bring it out so that she can be fair and balance those scales. I mean, she's been just when it's come to white Americans, but most unjust when it comes to the black, brown, red, and yellow people inside of the belly of America.
Very good. And of course, Dr. Al-Hadid, let me thank you, excuse me, over the last 30 seconds that we have for that excellent information about reparation. Each time that you come to us, you bring us such excellent information, and we certainly appreciate this whole idea. And I certainly appreciate the fact that we're able to elevate it into a position where it is understandable that when people talk about being in favor of reparation, they're essentially talking about being in favor of justice. Is
Absolutely,
that what we're saying?
There's no doubt in it. Economic justice.
Economic justice. And I certainly appreciate that point of view. And of course, we'll call an end to this show for today, and let us encourage our audience to, again, tune in next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you, and good morning.